Today I'm showcasing all 90 Neo Moko classes, their abilities, gameplay, combos, and my personal take on each one. Everything's still early and is subject to change. I'll also share a Google document with every class and ability later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Let's jump in. First up, we have the Speedshot bow. This is the weapon everyone starts with at level 1. The weapon's attacks now pierce through monsters, and the attack speed always stays the same, so you don't have to charge it up anymore. The first ability is a dash, basically the same as the dash module we had in chapter 1. Skill 2 shoots arrows in a cone shape which damages and slows the monsters on impact. Third skill shoots a bunch of arrows in the air and will target as many monsters as possible. These arrows can split on multiple groups of monsters. The last skill heals you over time. It has a flat value, so it will always heal the same amount no matter how low your HP is. This weapon is very easy to use and doesn't really have any combos that you have to think about. You can just spam your buttons anytime they are available and use heal whenever it is needed. It has consistent steady damage and will be the weapon to use for players that just want to chill and not have to think too much. I would like the devs to come up with a more unique dash that suits the weapon. For example, having a dash that shoots arrows around your character until the dash ends or something like that. Next up, the Hornbow. The weapon's attack are the same as before. 3 medium range bolts similar to a shotgun. Skill 1 is a dash which damages and stuns enemies. The movement stops once you hit an enemy. Hitting enemies will charge up your 4th skill. The bigger the monster is, the more it will charge up. Skill 2 is an old pepper spray gadget, but it will now also heal yourself. More enemies or bigger enemies hit will result in more healing. The third skill increases your attack speed for 5 seconds. And the last skill shoots waves of 5 bolts in a cone shape which damages and stuns enemies. The more you charge it up, the more often it will shoot. You can charge this up with your first skill or by just using your weapon's normal attacks. There is no specific combo for this weapon either. You just will have to decide when to use your pepper spray skill and your ultimate skill. Sometimes you want to charge your ultimate completely to do more damage for longer, and other times you want to instantly use it once it's available. The pepper spray healing values are not that good yet in my opinion. When you hit a single target, you barely heal even if it's a big monster, and when you attack a lot of small monsters, you will heal a lot. So I would like for devs to change the values a little bit so it heals more on fewer targets as well. This is a weapon you will want to use when there are a lot of enemies. Then we have the poison bow. This weapon shoots poisonous arrows. Every 4 hits, it will shoot 3 piercing poisonous arrows. It has a passive which applies poison onto monsters for 6 seconds, which also slows enemies affected by it. The poison damage is the only way to charge up your 4th skill. The first skill is a dash like the elite dash module we have right now. Skill 2 instantly deals extra damage to poisoned enemies and renews the poison for another 6 seconds. The poison then also spreads to nearby enemies. Skill 3 will remove all of the poison from the enemies and deal big damage to them, which will also stun the monsters. The final skill heals you over time. The more this skill is charged up, the more it heals. If it's fully charged up, it will heal you to full health. This weapon shines the most in places where there are a lot of small or medium enemies. The best combo is this. You will want to use your 2nd skill onto a group of monsters, inflicting poison to all of them. Then use your 3rd skill to deal big explosion damage onto them. I do enjoy playing this weapon a lot, but I would like for the devs to change the dash to something more unique. Maybe it could leave a trail of poison on the dash's path, or leave a puddle of poison on the ground where you started your dash. That way the dash is not boring and is more unique to the weapon. Do not use this weapon when there is only one big boss. It really shines in area damage, not single target damage. You need to poison a lot of enemies in order to charge up your healing skill. Next up is a new weapon, the Headbanger. This one deals area damage in front of you. After 3 hits, your next attack deals more damage, stuns enemies, and heals you. When you hit more or bigger enemies, the heal will be bigger. Skill 1 is a dash that damages enemies on its path. Skill 2 leaps and does area damage and will also stun the monsters on landing. You will always land in front of enemies. As long as the monsters are in your screen's vision, you will be able to hit them. You can also leap to a specific spot with your movement stick when there are no monsters in your vision. The 3rd skill sends a shockwave in a straight line that deals damage and also will stun. Your final skill can be charged up by your auto attacks, skill 1 and skill 3. You will spin around dealing area damage. You will also become immune to stuns, slows and pushbacks. On top of that, you will also heal yourself when dealing damage. The more or bigger the enemies you hit, the more you will heal. This weapon is really fun to play. It doesn't really have combos you need to follow. I would like the last skill to be chargeable like other weapons, where you can use it earlier, but then it's less powerful than a fully charged ability. This weapon will be most impactful when there are more enemies, but I believe it could still be strong even if there are single target bosses. For sure, a top 5 weapon based on how fun it is to play. The next weapon is Stormweaver, also formerly known as the Spinsicle. The auto attack has been changed. damaged. You will still slice the enemies in front of you, but instead of spinning after landing 5 attacks, you will now create a whirlwind that damages and stuns enemies on its path. Your first skill is a dash that can hold up to 2 charges. Dashing through enemies will damage them. Using your auto attacks and your dash skill will charge up the 3 remaining skills. You have 3 ultimates on this weapon, and they do share their charge bars. With skill 2, you become a tornado, dealing area damage, and you will pull all enemies towards you in the center. Skill 3 shoots lightning at random enemies, stunning them. And with the last skill, you become a tornado that heals everyone inside of its range, and you will push enemies away from the center. This weapon is considered a 2-star, but in my opinion feels like a 3-star, because you will have to think about which charge skill you want to use instead of button mashing. There are no combos for this weapon. Just be mindful of your charge bar and think before you act. I personally like playing this weapon. I think it's a solid, unique, versatile weapon. Another 2-star weapon is a fancy wrench. It currently has a buzz kill visuals, but this will be replaced once the weapon design is ready. This weapon is ranged. After landing 7 attacks, your next attack will summon a Pew 3000 turret. Its first skill is a normal dash, so nothing special there. The second skill boosts attack speed of you and your turrets. This will only affect the turrets that were already there when you press this skill, not the ones that spawn after. Third skill heals you and your turrets. It will also shield your turrets and prevent negative effects like stuns and slows. You will not be shielded. Neither will turrets that spawn after pressing the skill, so you still can be stunned. The final skill shoots a ball of energy from each turret, damaging enemies. Each ball bounces between enemies and stuns them. Because the turrets cannot move with you, this weapon is not good in open worlds. Often you will place down turrets, then kill the monsters, and you will need to move and leave behind your turrets. The only real value I see for this weapon is dojos, since you can aggro monsters to watch your turrets there, as well as rifts which have one big boss rather than a run-up. I don't recommend using this weapon in any other place other than these. I would also like the devs to change the dash to something more unique. For example, placing an extra turret at the end of your dash or something like that. For combos, it's just important to shield your turrets at the right time so they survive. I haven't played this weapon as much, so I have no further notes on it. Next up is the Wolf Stick. The weapon rapidly fires 3 attacks in a row on a single target. After landing 17 hits, your next attack will summon a wolf. Skill 1 is a standard dash. The second skill shoots a piercing attack which will knock you back a little bit. With skill 3, your wolf taunts all enemies within range onto himself. The final skill can be charged up by you and your wolf's attacks as well as your first skill. By using it, your wolf will become immune to stuns, slows and pushbacks, and its attack speed gets increased. The wolf's attacks heals itself and you. The more this skill is charged up, the higher the healing and the attack speed will be. Small notes for the devs: dashing does not retarget your wolf onto other enemies. The only way you can move your wolf is by moving or dashing away so that the wolf is outside of your screen, and then it will run back towards you. I would like them to change the dash mechanic so the wolf would come running towards you to hit the monsters closest to you every time you use a dash ability. If this won't be changed, a trick I recommend using is to stay far away from your wolf, and once it has many monsters onto itself or whenever you need him to tank for you, just walk or dash outside of its range to get him to run back to you. You want to keep your wolf alive. If it dies, you have to land 17 hits again and your 4th skill will have no charge again. So it's better to use your 4th skill at low charge if your wolf is about to die, since it will reset back to 0 if it dies. At least you will get some more healing out of it. Other than that, there are no big combos or mechanics to the Wolf Stick. Now we have the Vibe Shifter, formerly known as the Staff of Good Vibes. This one got a big change. You now have 2 primary attack buttons with no cooldowns, so you can swap between the 2 without any penalty. The first button will damage enemies in a cone shape. After landing 7 hits, your next attack deals damage in a big circle around you. The second button heals your allies and yourself in a cone shape. After landing 7 hits, your next attack will heal you and your allies in a big circle around you. The first skill is a normal dash. The second skill deals area damage in a small circle around you. Enemies hit are pushed back and slowed for a short time. The last skill places down a flower that heals everyone in pulses inside of its circle radius. This weapon no longer makes you feel like a healing bot. You can actually do so much with it, and I believe this one will see a lot of use in rifts and even open worlds. There are no real combos for this weapon other than choosing which button to click depending on if you need heals or not. You can also charge up the attack bar to fill with one weapon and then use it with the other button. For example, hitting the attack button 7 times, but then tapping the healing button once to have the healing circle come out, and the other way around. Another tip I can give is to use your plant skill as a tank for you. Just put it down in the front line so it tanks monsters their attack, and then you can heal it up to keep it alive. I would like the devs to find a unique dash for this weapon as well. Next up is a lava shield, or also formerly known as toothpick and shield. This weapon has a passive to make you take 20 25% less damage from all sources. The weapon's attack stayed the same as before, a piercing lance that deals area damage in front of you. However, there are no more knockups after attacking multiple times. The first skill is a dash, which has a similar range to the spicy dagger. However, whenever you hit a monster, your dash will stop. You will then deal area damage and stunning enemies with this instead. The second skill is a shield, very similar to the life jacket, the only difference being that it has a fixed timer and cannot be broken. It will block all damage and explode once it expires, stunning enemies and dealing area damage. Skill 3 is basically the whistle. You will taunt all nearby enemies for a few seconds. The final skill can only be charged up by taking hits from enemies. Even if you block these hits with your shield, it will still charge up this skill. Activating it will heal yourself and deal area damage around you. It also pushes back enemies and stun them. The more enemies you hit, or the bigger the enemies are, the more you will heal. I would like the devs to change the dash to something more social. For example, a leap where you can jump onto your teammate, which then shares your damage reduction passive with them for a second or two and stuns enemies on impact. If there are no allies nearby, it can just be a normal leap that will stun enemies on impact. This will be one of the main tanks in the game that people will use for rifts. Just make sure to use your fourth skill when there are a lot of enemies so you can heal yourself to full HP. The best combo is to use your taunt, to then use your shield and charge up your fourth skill due to that. Then use your fourth skill whenever your health starts to drop low. The first 3-star weapon is Sparky. This weapon breathes fire and burns enemies. The longer you fire, the more your bar charges up. When the bar is full, the weapon explodes and pushes all enemies back and stuns them. It will, however, also stun you. Its passive will burn enemies and deal damage for 3 seconds. Skill 1 is a normal dash. The second skill heals you and resets the weapon charge bar back to 0. Skill 3 shoots flames around you, damaging and burning enemies. The final skill will instantly damage all burning enemies, stunning them and refreshing the burn. This is one of the top 3 fun weapons to play. The best way to play this weapon is to use your heal whenever your bar is nearly full, so it gets reset back to 0 so you can keep shooting for longer. Other combos are applying burn to as many monsters as possible to then use your fourth skill to damage and stun them all. This weapon is really strong when there are a lot of enemies, but it's not recommended to use when there is only one big boss. I would like the devs to make its dash more unique to the weapon. For example, leaving a fire trail on the ground on the dashed path that stays on the ground for a second or two. Any monster that runs over it will be burned as well. I would also like the devs to add a danger sound indicator for when your bar is about to be full. The bar on its own is too subtle to notice. I really hope we don't have to wait too long in order to play this weapon. I love it so much. Another fun weapon is a Squid Blades. The weapon's attack stayed the same. High attack speed daggers that stab on a single enemy. The first skill is a dash similar to Spicy Dagger. If it hits an enemy, your dash will stop and the hit enemies are stunned and slowed. Skill 2 throws blades in a cone shape. Third skill will let you stealth for 5 seconds. Enemies cannot see you, so they will not attack you directly. However, you can still get damage from their splash attacks. As you can see, I'm taking damage from a Smelly Socks passive even when I'm in stealth mode. The final skill can be charged up either by attacking with your weapon or by hitting your second skill. By activating it, you will throw piercing blades in all directions around you, dealing damage and being immune to stuns, slows and pushbacks. Hitting enemies will heal you. The bigger and more enemies you hit, the more you will heal. A very fun and good weapon to use. I recommend using it when there are a lot of enemies. It's really bad against single enemies. The way to play this weapon is by just attacking enemies with your normal attack and spamming your second skill whenever you can. Once you take too much damage, you can go into stealth mode and keep attacking to charge up your fourth skill. When you are low health, you should try and find multiple enemies close to each other so you can spin near them to heal back up to full health. If you waste your fourth skill when there are not many enemies nearby, you will not have a good time. I have no additional feedback for devs on this weapon other than good job. It's a viable and fun weapon to use. And hey, if you want to support the channel, you can use code Xpect in any Supercell game. It doesn't cost you anything, but it genuinely helps me out a ton. And here's the cool part. If you use code Xpect when you purchase something in Moco, you'll get an invite to an exclusive community group chat. A bunch of special things are planned for that group chat, so don't sleep on it. Another one of my favorites is a Techno Fists. This weapon has different attacks based on your selected skill. The first skill is a normal dash. Skill 2, 3 and 4 share the same cooldown. You can only use one mode at the same time, which has a 4-second cooldown timer. The attacks of skill 2 deal area damage. It fires blue pulses that stun and deal damage, which also bounce between monsters up to 3 times. After landing 7 hits, your next attack fires a mega pulse that deals extra damage and bounces up to 10 times. When you activate this skill, you and your teammates within the aura circle will receive increased movement speed for 2 seconds. The attacks of skill 3 are single target damage. This will fire red pulses that stun and deal heavy damage to a single enemy. After landing 7 hits, your next attack will fire a mega pulse that stuns and deals extra damage to your targets. When you activate this skill, you and your teammates within the aura circle will receive an attack speed boost for 2 seconds. The final skill is a heal. It will fire green pulses that heal you and the closest ally which has taken damage. After landing 7 hits, your next attack flings a mega pulse. When you activate this skill, you and your teammates within the aura circle will receive a heal. This is a very versatile weapon that will most likely be used a lot for rifts, when you don't know if there's a single enemy or a lot of monsters waiting for you on the other side. Since you have a single target mode, an area damage mode and a healer mode, you can basically do everything. The only thing you will have to think about is using the right mode, because you will be stuck in that mode for 4 seconds. My feedback for the devs is reduce the cooldown from 4 seconds down to 3 seconds. Often when I heal, I'm just sitting there for 2 seconds doing nothing, because it heals so much. I would like to choose a mode a bit more often. The vibe shifter has no penalty for swapping between attack or healing mode, so I don't think it's fair that the Techno Fists have to wait 4 whole seconds. You can reduce the aura duration from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds to compensate for this. I would also like to see a more unique dash other than a normal boring dash module. I don't know what would suit this weapon, so surprise me. This will be one of the flex weapons that a lot of sweats will have in their team. Next one is Wasp Sword, formerly known as the buzz skill. The weapons attack are the same as before. Every third attack you will summon a wasp. For skill 1 you have a dash that strikes enemies in your path. If you hit at least one enemy, it reduces all your abilities cooldown by 2 seconds. Second skill will summon 3 wasps. They do have an expiring time, even if they have health left. Skill 3 makes all of your wasps explode, dealing heavy area damage and also stuns the hit enemies. The final skill will instantly kill all of your wasps, and they will release a healing pulse that restores health to you and nearby allies. This weapon seems to underperform. Since now your wasps and you both are melee range, you will both get damage at the same time. Most big bosses have a big swing attack that deals area damage, so I'd like for the devs to make either the wasps or your weapon ranged. Otherwise you will just die over and over again, especially with how little the wasps heal. Which brings me to the other point. Please buff the healing amount of the 4th skill. It really is lackluster. I do not recommend using this weapon. It really does feel weak. I would rather use a Pew Summoner weapon, even if it's not that much better. The last 3-star weapon is a medicine ball. This one also has 3 ultimates like a Stormweaver has. The main attack is still the same. Every 3rd swing, you will heal yourself and nearby allies. You will charge up your 3 ultimate skills by attacking like this. With skill 1, you will dash forward, hitting enemies with your medicine ball. If you hit at least one enemy, you will also charge up your other skills. Skill 2, 3 and 4 share their charge bars, so you will have to decide which one you want to use. The second skill will swing your medicine ball and deal damage and stun monsters around you. Skill 3 will shield yourself from all damage temporarily and also heal yourself. The final skill will shield yourself and all allies around you from damage temporarily, but it will not heal. I have to be honest, I did not test this weapon as much. It just isn't my cup of tea, and I don't find it fun to play since I feel like I am a heal bot. However, I do think the weapon is viable. The heals are quite big. I will let you decide for yourself how to play it and if it's good or not. The first 4-star weapon and my favorite out of all of the weapons is the Bloodsucker. When you attack with your weapon, your blade will deal 1000 area damage in front of you at a close range. However, you will lose 200 health for every swing. With skill 1, you will dash and hit all enemies in its path, causing 1000 damage. You will also lose 300 health for every dash. The second skill will swing your blade, dealing 3000 area damage around you. This will also deal 900 damage to yourself. Skill 3 attacks in a cone shape, dealing area damage. This will also slow the monster's hit and heals you for each enemy hit. The more and bigger enemies you hit, the more you will heal. The final skill is similar to the very mean pendant, but bigger and stronger. You will attack monsters in a big circle around you, dealing massive area damage, slowing enemies hit and healing you for each enemy hit. Bigger and more enemies hit will result in more healing. You're also immune to stuns, slows and pushbacks during this time. This one really is fun to play, but it's not for people that want to shut off their brain and just button spam. You will have to decide when to attack and when to wait in order to heal back up, since your attacks will deal damage to yourself as well. Here are some tips that I can give. Do not use your second skill too much. It will deal 3000 damage, but it costs 900 health to do so, while doing 3 normal attacks with your weapons does the same damage but costs you 300 less health. You also want to hit as many enemies as possible with your 3rd and 4th skill. This way you will heal up a lot. This weapon is very strong in PvP. I also don't recommend you to use it when there is only a single single target boss. You really want a lot of enemies so you can heal to full very quickly. The devs did a very good job on the design and functions of this weapon. I'm in love with it, guys. Please don't change it and release it as soon as possible. The next one is Monster Slugger. The mechanics of this weapon are very weird. You will deal area damage in front of you at close range. Every fourth attack pushes back and stuns enemies. After a delay, the enemies explode, causing area damage and stun effects. Hitting your explode effect will unlock skill 2. Skill 1 is a dash that also heals yourself. Skill 2 is another dash, which stops at the closest enemy in that direction. Hitting monsters with your bat deals area damage and stuns them. This skill will unlock skill 3 after you hit an enemy with this skill. The third skill will make your bat hit quickly multiple times, which deals area damage in front of you. The last hit in the sequence pushes back and stuns enemies. You will unlock the final skill after hitting an enemy with this skill. The fourth skill throws multiple baseballs dealing damage and bouncing between enemies, which stuns them. I did not play this weapon a lot just because of how weird the unlocking system is. It's a 4-star weapon, but you only have one certain way to play it since your skills need to be hit in sequence. The only skill will be to connect your skills onto enemies, since if you miss, you won't unlock the next skill. I would like a dev to take another look at this weapon. It just feels weird. Zapsicle, or formerly teased as the Electrician, is another 4-stars weapon. It has a passive called Electrify, which reduces the enemy movement speed by 5 seconds once affected by it. The weapon itself is a close range weapon that does area damage. Its first skill makes you dash forward, electrifying the enemy's hit. You're also immune to all damage while dashing. Skill 2 fires a shocking bolt that electrifies the closest enemy. The shock can spread and electrify up to 4 other nearby enemies. The third skill transforms yourself into a ball of lightning that travels to each electrified enemy, dealing damage and removing electrification. You are immune to all damage while transformed. The cooldown of this skill is shared with the fourth skill. The last skill will remove electrification from all enemies, healing yourself for each affected enemy. The bigger and more enemies affected, the more you will heal. The weapon is for sure interesting, but I personally don't like how the third and fourth skill cooldowns are shared. I also find it very easy to apply the passives onto enemies, but very hard to proc them. But maybe I'm just a noob. I have one big tip for you while using this weapon. The third skill will dash you around a lot, but there is no way of knowing where you will end up afterwards. So it's best to save your first skill, so if you land in a bad spot, you can at least dash to safety with your first skill. The final 4-stars weapon is a portable portal. The weapon still has a very long range and shoots 3 orbs which deal area damage. The attack speed of the weapon is now also way faster. With skill 1, you will place down a portal that summons monsters. The portal expires after a while. After expiring, it will summon a temporary shaman who heals you and around himself. Skill 2 shoots a big orb which explodes, dealing area damage at long range. After it explodes, your active portal will instantly teleport there, dealing area damage upon arrival. The third skill will instantly teleport you towards your active portal, dealing area damage upon arrival. With the final skill, the portal will pull in monsters around it, and after a while explodes, dealing heavy area damage and stuns the enemy's hit. This weapon is so complex and deserves a 5-star in my opinion. If your portal dies, you will not have a shaman to heal you. The portal spawning cooldown is 20 seconds. Then you need to wait another 10 or 15 seconds for it to be low to spawn a shaman. So it really is hard to get yourself healed up. I recommend you to not use your fourth skill, because the portal will explode and die, meaning it won't spawn a shaman. So I hope the devs tweak this so that if you use a fourth skill, it will also heal you for the health the portal had before exploding, because it is really hard to heal yourself. The teleport range has no limits, so you could use this weapon versus a really hard rift with a boss that wipes everyone out when it's very low health. Then you could teleport to your portal far away, while all of your teammates die, and then wait for them to respawn. I will need to test the weapon more to form a better opinion on it, but for sure a very interesting weapon. It now really is a portable portal. The final weapon and the only 5-star weapon currently in the game is a Singularity. The weapon throws a disc in a circular arc towards the closest enemy, dealing damage to enemies it passes through. This can go through walls, and all of your spells will interact with this disc. It is basically a boomerang. Skill 1 will instantly teleport you to the disc's location and has only a 1-second cooldown, so you can spam this one a lot. The second skill deals area damage and stuns enemies around your disc location when activating. Skill 3 creates a black hole at your disc location when activating. This will pull in all the monsters toward the center. After a short delay, it will explode, stunning enemies hit and dealing area damage. The last skill will heal in a pulse around this location when activated, healing you and allies within the range for a big amount of health. This weapon is very hard to use. The disc will always target the closest monster, so you have no real control over where your disc goes. The devs need to change the disc so it will move towards the way your movement joystick is faced, instead of the closest enemy. It can still target the closest enemies if you are not moving, but right now there is too much randomness to the weapon. I do like how hard it is to use, but I would just like a bit more control. If you want to see more footage of all of these classes, make sure to watch my upcoming stream of how we tested the new Neo Moko. If you want to capture the feeling of how it all went down, I for sure recommend you to watch that stream. If you have any further questions about the classes, you can comment on them below this video or ask them in the stream. Cheers!